Which Will and Grace cast member threw away their script when they first read it? And how did the show creators finally convince Debra Messing to do the show? What will the cast members be getting up to now that the show has ended? Hi, I'm Janet. Let's start. Just Jack. As Will and Grace finally came to an end, Sean Hayes took some time to reflect on some of his most memorable moments on the show. And the one that stood out was Jack's run-in with his longtime idol Cher. Sean spoke about working with Cher on People TV's Couchsurfing and said she was the best. She was super cool and down-to-earth and funny. Speaking of cameos, People magazine ran a poll and asked fans to vote for their favorite cameo appearance on the show. And the winner was Matt Damon, who played a very funny and shady character of a guy who pretended to be gay to get into a gay chorus. Sean revealed how he and Matt used to play softball together, and that's when he asked him to come on the show. Did you know that Sean almost missed out on playing the iconic role of Jack? Yep, he threw away the script for the pilot after reading it. It took some convincing from the network execs to get him onto the show. When the final season of Will and Grace came, Sean was a bit more vocal about how he wanted his character to be portrayed. "I wanted Jack to be more mature and have more responsibility," he said. On playing the role of Jack, Sean added, "The thing I am most proud of is being myself and expressing open love with my husband." Speaking of husbands, do you know what Sean had to say about working with his on-screen partner, Estefan Gloria, who is played by Brian Jordan Alvarez? He had nothing but good things to say about him. "I think he is a comedy genius. I am so impressed by his timing, and when you see somebody as talented as him, you think, boy, they are really born to do this. And he really is." Prior to filming their scenes together, the pair went out to dinner and immediately hit it off. I guess that explains the great chemistry they shared on screen. As the curtains closed for what may be the final ending of the show, Sean took a painting from Will's apartment as a reminder of his time on the show. As far as future plans are concerned, Sean is looking forward to writing and producing more of his own projects. "I'm at the point in my life where I just want to make shows that I am proud of," he commented. Sean recently wrote and starred in his own film titled Lazy Susan, where he plays Susan, the frumpy and hilarious lead character of the film. Other projects to look out for include a Netflix series where, as he calls it, he'll be playing a gay James Bond, and a theater production where he will be playing concert pianist Oscar Levant. Karen, you say potato, I say vodka. Well known for her witty lines and her love for a dirty martini, Karen Walker is an icon in her own right, and we can't help but give Megan Mullally props for pulling off such a role. As it turns out, Megan herself is far more reserved in real life. She spoke about this in her interview with the New York Post. "I get embarrassed. In reality, I am much more of an introvert," she said. She went on to say that she doesn't even drink in real life. Now, that doesn't sound like Karen at all. When it came to the show making its final return, Megan Mullally was one of the people who was keen on the idea. "I was really a cheerleader for the reboot, and it's been wonderful, but I do think it's time to move on," she said. However, she's excited about how the show ends, as it's a throwback to some of the best shows ever, like Cheers and The Mary Tyler Moore Show. There have been some rumors swirling about an alleged on-set feud between Megan and Debra Messing, who plays Grace, after Megan didn't pitch for any of the show's press interviews. Nothing has been said to confirm these rumors, but Megan did speak about bullying on the set of an episode of her podcast, which she co-hosts with her husband of 16 years, Nick Offerman. The podcast is fittingly titled In Bed with Nick and Megan, where they interview guests from the comfort of their lovely bed. The couple also released a memoir titled The Greatest Love Story Ever Told. Will, one giant leap for man on mankind. Did you know that Eric McCormack, who plays Will Truman, nearly played Ross on Friends? Yep, he was a strong contender for the role and auditioned for a few times. But fortunately for Will and Grace fans, the producer decided to go with David Schwimmer for the role. Thank goodness for that, because it's hard to imagine the role of Will being played by someone else. Eric took a moment to reflect on the final season in an interview with People TV's Couchsurfing and spoke about how bittersweet it was doing the show for the last time. "We had a second chance to do this right. We had 3 great years with these characters, and I love the way it ends," he said. Eric also spoke about how he was more present when he was on set. He made sure to take each moment in, because he knew that this time around, it was final. "I was conscious this time of being conscious," he added. Eric has a few disclaimers and some notes for someone watching the show for the first time. He sat down with Entertainment Weekly to share some of his recommendations for first-time viewers of the show, including his disapproval of his appearance in the first show. "Watch the pilot and forgive my hair," he exclaimed. He also mentioned a few memorable episodes to look out for, including Jack coming out in Season 2 and the flashbacks titled Lows in the Mid-80s in Season 3, where we first see Will and Grace dating back in college. This episode really stands out for him, and he says it got him an Emmy. So be sure to check that one out. Eric says he needed something to remind him of his time on the show, so he took Will's porcelain dog from the set. Don't you guys think that's sweet? When asked if he would do the show again in future, Eric said he'd do it in a heartbeat. Would you like to catch up with your faves a few years from now? As of late, Eric has been spending time at home with his wife of 23 years and 17-year-old son. Most people are surprised to learn Eric is married to a woman. His wife is also in on the joke about Eric's sexuality, saying, "I'm not 100% sure myself." As far as future projects are concerned, no word yet on where we can catch Eric next, but we'll definitely keep an eye out for you, because whatever it is, we'll be certain it will be great. Grace, I see the way you look at me when I shave my legs. Debra Messing is the talented actress responsible for bringing to life the character of Grace Adler, the stylish and quirky interior designer and Will's longtime roommate. The undeniable on-screen chemistry between Debra and Eric is a huge factor in what made the show a hit that is 18 Emmys later. She recently reflected on her time on the show, and when asked about what she's going to miss the most, definitely laughing every single day. That was the highlight of the job always. Our job was to figure out how to make people laugh every day. It's not something I took for granted, she said in a podcast called Checking In With. Although she will miss her co-stars, she's happy that the show ended in a meaningful way. Did you know that the show's creators had to do some convincing to get Debra to play the role of Grace? Yep, show creators Matt Muchnick and David Cohan wanted Debra on the show so badly they went over to her house with a bottle of vodka. And after a fun-filled night with lots of shots, they asked her, "Will you do it?" And the next day, she said yes. Debra was recently in a Broadway play called Birthday Candles, which chronicles the journey of a woman named Ernestine from the age of 17 up until she turns 107. And the whole time, Debra never leaves the stage. This show had to come to a halt because of the COVID pandemic. However, she is looking forward to people seeing the show when the restrictions are lifted. Debra is also very passionate about her philanthropic work with PSI, which does a lot of work to help fight HIV in African countries. As of late, Debra has been enjoying spending her time at home, reading till 3 a.m., taking her dog on walks, and learning how to play the piano. Debra also hosts a podcast called The Dissenters with her longtime friend Mandana Diani, where they chat to people whose stories have inspired them and, in Debra's own words, blew our minds. In each episode, the pair talk to one incidental activist and give them the spotlight they deserve. Award-winning support. The show has been known for its outstanding delivery in terms of guest appearances and supporting cast members. One character who stands out is Beverly Leslie, played by Leslie Jones, whose character has given fans great laughs over the seasons. Known for his ongoing rivalry and banter with Karen, these two have given us the most hilarious showdowns in TV history. In the final season, spoiler alert, the pair square off in the most comedic battle in a remake of the classic film I Love Lucy, resulting in the characters being completely smothered in grape juice. Leslie Jordan has made 21 appearances on the show since 2001 and scored himself an Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor for his role on the show as Beverly, which I guess goes to show how incredible his performance was. Recently, Leslie has gained a lot of popularity for his super comedic Instagram videos. If you haven't seen any of his viral posts, I would suggest you head on over to his Instagram if you want a few good laughs. He will definitely have you in stitches. In a recent interview with Access Daily, Leslie spoke about his sudden spike in fame and said, "When you go viral, you hear from people you haven't heard from in a really long time, and they're kind of like, maybe you and I can go live. How about maybe not," he joked. We can't forget to mention another big hit on the show, Karen's no-nonsense housekeeper, Rosario. Played by Shelley Morrison, the character was initially set to only appear in one episode. But the chemistry between Karen and Rosario was so electric that the writers decided to make her a regular on the show up until the final season. Rosario has appeared in 68 episodes of Will and Grace. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Shelley was asked to come back for the reboot of the show, but graciously declined as she had already retired from acting. In 2019, fans of the show received the sad news of Shelley's passing. Her cast members took to Instagram to share their fondest memories of Shelley, including one from Mullally, saying, "Thank you for your friendship and partnership, Shell. You accomplished wonderful things in the world. You will be missed." I'm sure Shelley will be missed by fans all over the world, but will always be remembered for the great laugh she gave us. Which one of these Will and Grace characters is your fave? And which episode will you remember the most? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember to stay awesome.